All right, awesome guys. So this is what is it now? August already, the month of August. My God, 6 months done, month of August, August 7th, 1 week done in August. Crazy, crazy. Let me make sure you got a couple of things going on. Give me a second. What's going on? Why am I not able to stream properly? Have no idea. But whatever. Let's just go ahead. So we're Eddie in the house. Um, These Thursday coaching calls are usually for people in our coaching program, either in the mastermind and or school program. But I decided to open it up for everybody here today because it's an exciting topic today, right? I've known, for those of you who don't know, I'm bringing in Eddie B. He's been with me ever since I started my coaching, right? 6, 7 years ago, right, Eddie?
Yeah, I think it's about that. That's what
Yeah, something like
I believe
that.
so.
Crazy number of years. Here's the thing, right? Eddie is good at SEO. He's got an SEO agency. He's good at ranking. He's got a rank and rent portfolio. But what he's done, literally, he came a few months ago to a mastermind and he shared some stuff. Everyone was excited. Here's what he's done. He's used his SEO skills, his ranking skills, and he started a small micro business. He's going to show you all that today. A small micro business, just so that his then fiance, now wife, did not have to go to a job. Okay. And just
Yep.
working part time in the weekends, he'll go through all that today. His wife now doesn't go to a job, just working part time makes anywhere from five to $10,000 a month profit. Okay, just working weekends, right? And then he duplicated that, started a micro business for his in-laws, started one for his sister, like three, four, five different micro businesses. When I say micro, anywhere from five to $15,000 a month, I'm thinking Eddie will share all that. But I got excited, and a
So
lot of people got
why would
excited
I
because
pick the business
because
that I know?
if you can make 5 to 10K a month with a local business working 2 days a week, even if you work 5 days a week, I mean, I think that's what everyone wants to go after. So I don't want to take too much time. I literally asked Eddie, I said, hey, can you come and share, start high level, why, how, and all that, and then go deeper into it. And if you want to know more into it, I'm even thinking of bringing in Eddie every other week or so to see how we can each start our own micro business and things like that. So
Is
I'm excited.
one of Chris.
So I'm going to get Eddie go here. Eddie, it's all yours. You take away. I'm going to just start figuring out how to stream live on
You
YouTube.
keep
But go ahead,
freezing up,
recording
Sarah
this.
Vanna.
All of it, all for you. Go ahead, all yours, Eddie. Thank you.
Hello. I heard someone saying that it was freezing up. It wasn't freezing up for me. I don't know if it might be your internet connection,
Yeah, it's good for me. So
specifically.
yep, go ahead.
Yeah, no,
And
for
guys,
everybody
any
it's pretty
questions,
good.
put it in the chat. I'm monitoring the chat, right? So any questions, put in the chat. Let's just go, Eddie. Go ahead, all yours, Eddie.
Awesome. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. Well, actually, I'll take a little bit. I'll go through my part of it is my introduction. So I'll first start with my presentation. So before I start, let me go ahead and make sure that I have presenting. So I am showing my screen, right? Is my screen showing?
Yes, we
I
can see
see
before I
before I
start. Yep,
start,
you're presenting.
does
Yes.
it
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
That's what I was looking for. So yes, so before I start my whole presentation, I want to know how many of y'all already have a local business, not a marketing agency. I do want to separate that completely. Put a one in the chat if already have a local business that you have, and put a two if you have never started a local business. Technically, the agency was your first business.
So Sherry says
Awesome. So I'm
two.
seeing
I said two. Nobody says one
awesome.
so
So
far.
I'm seeing a lot of twos.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna go over is something I did this presentation. It's going to be almost a year ago in our mastermind last September. And obviously, a lot of things. Oh, Tyron, awesome.
Byron
Jeff
and Jeff
also.
have their own business, they say.
What type of business, Jeff? Can you type it in there in Tyron? What type of business did you start? I want to know on that, a local business. Once again, completely separate than an agency, a marketing agency, or anything related to martial arts. That's awesome. That is awesome. And for you, Jeff, what was your type of business? Esthetician. Awesome, awesome. So I love hearing that completely. And what I was saying earlier is I gave this presentation last September. It was in our mastermind group, but it's completely changed from where I was then to now, even a year ago. And like anything, I'm sure you guys have gone through it. If you have your agency, a lot can happen within a year. And so I've completely um, done things differently from then. And what I'll start first with is the point of this class that we're going to be doing today is looking beyond an agency, clients, and lead gen partners. I'm one of them that likes to call our rank and rent. I don't call them clients. I always like to call them partners. That's going to be a whole different class about it. Why I do that, but the plan for today is to, like I've always told everybody, it's to open your eyes. It's and everything that we're going to be going over is going to be the different key takeaways that I want you to take from today. So the idea for today is to stop thinking of just your agents and clients slash lead gen partners and discover the beauties and struggles of owning a local business. Why do I say that? Because in a lot of our cases, all what do we think about is just, okay, let me focus on just my agency. Um, and that's about it. A lot of us is that's all we're doing. We're just focusing on our um, marketing agency, and we leave a lot of money on the table. That's something that I've always told people. Why do I say that? Because the you knowing digital marketing is a huge and powerful tool that you can use just beyond just your clients or helping um, your partners and everything. You have to look further beyond that. And then the next thing is I want everybody to realize that everybody has that entrepreneur spirit within them. I know a lot of people are like, even us as marketers, we only focus, like I said, the main key takeaway that I want you to get from today is that you have an amazing skill that a lot of people are not I want to say a lot of us are not taking advantage, because that was my case. I've been in the well, I'll explain a little bit further in how long I've been in the digital marketing and everything. And lastly, the main idea that I want you to get from this whole class is try it out. But most importantly, don't lose focus on your ultimate goal. And we've Saravanan has always talked about that you want to have your ultimate goal, your minimum money that you want to be making, and we want to make sure that you never take your eyes off that. But moving on from that, what I let me there we go. So a lot of us know digital marketing. So now what? What can you do with it? So a lot of us do client SEO, we do rank and rent, we do partners slash JVs, we do affiliate marketing, we do web design, and some of us do Facebook ads. But the main thing that I want you guys to take from today is we don't realize the skills that we have and the importance of everything that we're able to do because we just see it as clients. But when you start actually taking the time to realize that, hey, I have an amazing skill, which is what is getting clients. That's the most important thing that any business needs. And that's what has taken me from just being just a digital marketer to being an entrepreneur to now. I call myself a serial entrepreneur, and I'll explain a little bit more why. Because at the end of the day, the skill that we have, and it's the most important thing that any business needs, is clients. Give me a one if everybody is still with me. So it seems that I'm talking a lot, but I want to make sure that everybody's paying
Oh, this
attention
is
and
good.
everything
People are
that I'm
giving
saying.
ones, and I for the longest
Awesome,
time
I love it.
Eddie, and this is good. People are giving one. Thank you. But I just want to put a quick 2 cents. For the longest time, and I've been guilty of this for years on end. I've always said, "Hey, man, I should start a local business because I know a CEO," and I haven't gotten to it. Right? Excuses are excuses. And Eddie comes here. He's not started one, not two, but multiple. Right? And so I'm excited to learn. We will over the next few weeks. I want to see if we can bring Eddie to see how we can start and grow it. But let's start with what we got, Eddie. Go ahead. So everyone's saying 111. This is great. Thank you. Scott says it's great.
Awesome.
Super
That
excited. Thank you.
I want to make sure that everybody's paying attention, like I mentioned, because there's a lot of key things that I'm gonna, a lot of the a lot of the things that you're gonna see today. It's the main idea, like I mentioned since the beginning. The main idea is I want you to open your mind. To be 100% honest, you're not gonna per se learn a lot. It's honestly the idea for today is not for me to teach you so much because I'm not gonna go super in depth, and it'll make sense a little bit why, but it's gonna be opening your mind because at the end of the day, all each and every single one of us, we have the skills, and if you don't, you're already part of the community. You have the video is already available either through the school program or through the original program like I joined, which is the rack and rent model. A lot of that is available to you. You have everything you need to succeed. And most important, like I mentioned, the most important thing that all businesses need is clients. Clients is the backbone because if you don't have clients at the end of the day, you're not making money. That's the thing that you have to realize. And what do we have? We have that skill. But before I continue a little bit more forward, I want to introduce myself and who I am. So first of all, my name is Eddy Bautista. So I'm 26 years old, believe it or not. I know a lot of people are kind of surprised by that at times. There, I have 11 years in doing digital marketing. So I actually started at the age of 15 when I was a freshman in high school. Before then, I tell a lot of people I didn't have a lot of access to internet. In a lot of cases, I was huge on learning, but we didn't have internet at home. That's one of the reasons why it was a little bit harder for me to start and everything. I was already learning, but I wasn't fully into it completely because I didn't have access at home. So I originally started in graphic design, and I was just telling the story, I think 2 days ago to someone that my original reason that I started, it wasn't because I wanted it. Well, I don't want to say because I wanted to, but mainly for my desire to help. I'm that type of person that I personally like to help. A lot of people have reached out to me within the community, and if they have questions, and I'll always mention that if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help everybody. And once again, one of the reasons that I started was because within the church that I was attending to, I would do photography and video within the church. That led me to want to help out a foster home that was within our church. There was the founder was within our church, so what we went ahead and we wanted to help them. So I started learning graphic design, and I noticed that they needed help with their website, so I started learning that. But at the end of the day, like everybody, I'm sure. Well, mainly we teach our business owners is not because you build it, it means that people are going to come. That's a huge misconception that a lot of people have that if you build it, they'll come. Unfortunately, it's not the case. And we've all realized that not because you build a website means that you're going to show up on Google at the end of the day. That's something that once again, am I correct to say this? Everybody put a one if you've had clients that tell you it's because we built the website, but they're coming to us, they're not coming to us, and that's exactly what our skill is, and that's exactly what I want you to guys get from this. We have amazing skill that we don't realize. We kind of undervalue ourselves on what is possible, and that goes in I later when I went to university, I went to university for a year, and then I decided to drop out personally because I was already running my marketing agency. And in a lot of cases, what ended up happening is that when I was talking to a lot of my professors, they were even when I was technically my first year in, a lot of them were telling me, "Hey, why don't you go ahead and become a professor?" I was like, I'm still under my undergraduate, and a lot of the cases I was actually teaching them because I'm sure, well, in the people that have gone to school, a lot of the cases, a lot of the professors don't have real world life experience. A lot of it is just theories, or at least that's how I learned it from my professors. It's theories on technically how it should work, but it's very different on how real life and everything is being done. And like Yes, they were doing it to pay off their debt. I 100% agree with you, Ome, that they're just doing it mainly to pay off their debt. But the main thing that I want to mention is I was one of the founding members of the original Rank and Rank course, right? I think it
Yeah,
was before it even was the agency model, I believe that you added later
yeah,
on, and
exactly. Yeah,
the partnership model. And I was one of the founding members, and
we've been together for before COVID, so long ago. You know,
yeah, it was before COVID. I think it was, I don't know if it was
18,
2019,
18 or
2019,
19. Yeah,
2018.
something like that.
I think when we started talking.
Yep,
And like I mentioned, I was one of the founding members,
yep.
but I'm almost gonna be 3 years married, and that's the reason that you're gonna see this picture. I got married almost 3 years ago, and
What's another crazy uh, fact is Eddie and I share the same birthday, right,
oh
Eddie?
yes, very true. That's
Yeah,
something that funny enough, we didn't realize it until later on.
yeah,
One of the members as well was
yeah.
I forgot his name right now, but he was also we shared the same birthday, the three of us,
Yeah.
and yeah, we're born different years.
Yeah.
uh, we share the amazing birthday of September 20th.
Yeah.
But going on to the next thing. So like I mentioned, I was part of the program for a long time, but I've taken a hiatus or some time off, mainly because I got engaged. So I'll take a step back. So I got engaged. I've been married now for 3 years, but when we got engaged, my wife at the time was working as a CNA. CNA is a certified nurse assistant. So in her case, she was working in a nursing home. So her job was taking care of the elderly, but she was taking care of, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I need to ask her again, but believe it was about 40 to 50 patients is what she was taking care of. So she was in charge of bathing them if they needed to be changed. At the end of the day, it was a nursing home. So they were fully taking care of them. And what was she making then? She was just making, I believe, 850 an hour. It's crazy. I always tell her, I was like, I don't know how you were doing 850 and taking care of 40 elderly people with everything that you had to do. But the main reason, um, the main thing that I got from that is she was making, I think, $60 or $70 after taxes and everything. And I was like, I don't think you should be doing that. I can help you start a business. And I had always wanted to start my own business completely, but because of COVID or one thing or another, I had always kind of not fully started it. So kind of a background on that. In COVID, I'm sure a lot of you saw that we were not able to get out. So we were just mainly at home, and that completely changed the way that a lot of us celebrated their birthdays. So instead of doing the full birthday parties and everything, what did COVID do? It transformed the way we celebrated. And what I mean specifically by that in COVID, I'm sure a lot of you saw it, they were doing a lot of those yard greetings. I don't know if you all remember, it was those yard signs that they would put in their yard. They would do, instead of doing, like I mentioned, the parties, they would do the drive-by parties that they would just drive by and kind of wave and at the celebrant. Put a one if you remember that. Put a two if you honestly don't remember that happening within COVID. I know it was almost, believe it or not, 5 years ago. It was like I mentioned, it was those yard greetings that they would put in front of the yard. They would put happy birthday and all of that. That's actually one of the first businesses that I started, and I'll explain a little bit later on that. So when in COVID, I started that, I started working on that business, but in comparison to a lot of people, instead of me having to lose clients and everything, a lot of our clients ramped up everything that they were doing because they were seeing results compared to their competitors that were not doing digital marketing. And what I want to put with that is that since it transformed the way that we were doing things, I wanted to get into it. My dad had a business before, so it was I always wanted to start that. So for Denlin, let me go ahead and show you what the yard greetings is, because I didn't include it um, in my regular presentation, but I'll go ahead and show a quick picture of that. And then when you see it, it's gonna make more sense. So let me go ahead and put a birthday one.
And so this was one of the first businesses you started in COVID.
Yes, so this was the one of the first businesses that I personally started, and a lot of people, when I tell them this fun story, it was these. Hopefully, everybody can see my screen. It
What's it
was
called again?
These are called yard greetings. Yeah, they were popular when during COVID. So like I mentioned, when we weren't going out, I put a one if everybody I'm sure that you saw it at least once. I know that it's still being done in hospitals outside. That's how they decorate them to kind of celebrate things. Put a one if you've seen it before, these yard greetings, or you remember it during COVID. I know it was extremely popular during COVID. Awesome. You see everybody does remember it. I This is one of the first businesses that I personally started um, outside of my agency. And what we were doing is just like it seemed, they were individual signs that we would install. And funny enough, before I even had anything, none of the printouts, none of the designs done, the first thing I did, like everybody else, and we taught all of our blessing, all of our clients, if everybody can mute themselves, but like I was saying, before we even started and getting all the printouts, we went ahead and like we told our clients, get a GMB. And funny enough, when we got our GMB, we ended up getting it was in the time that we could get GMBs like crazy. I am sure Sarvan remembers those beautiful days during COVID when
Yeah.
we could just get GMBs wherever, left and right without a problem.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. I just came up with the name. So my area is called the Rio Grande Valley because we have the Rio Grande River. Um, so I live very close to the border. Um, so all I did was added RGV and yard greetings. That's what the service was called, and that's what my business was. A lot of people laughed at me. They were like, "You couldn't have been a little bit more original and calling it something else." I was like, "It's I just did it quick, not thinking about it too much." And I was within a I think like 3 days from me registering it through Google and getting verified. We started showing up, and we started getting calls before I even had
Wow.
the actual printouts and everything. We started getting calls, and a lot of people questioned me during the time because these yard greens specifically were renting for, I think I want to say the average person was renting them between $60 to $80. Um, the idea that I had and that I tell everybody is it's very different the pricing that you see on Facebook for specific clients or for businesses than comparison to what you see to Google. Why do I say that? Because Google, like I tell everybody, for Facebook, we use it in a lot of cases is because we want to get the best deal. What I mean by that, we want to get the cheapest option that was able to work, not the best option. The best option, what is that? Where do we go for that? We go to Google. Why? Because we're able to see the reviews, we're able to see if they've already been successful as a business and how many clients they've had happy. And you can see it directly there in comparison, like I mentioned. And I'm sure a lot of people can attest to this is on Facebook, we go, why? Because we want to get the cheapest option. Like, hey, you post on Facebook, I'm having this issue with my plumbing. Who have you guys used? What's the first thing that they, in most cases, they mention? Oh, I used this one. They were really cheap, or they did it. It was really affordable with them. And in a lot of cases, like I tell my clients, I don't want you to be known for the most affordable. I want you to be known for being the best. Why? Because the best people are willing to pay more. And the main idea with this is since my wife, well, at then my girlfriend was working and making only, which is the average income most people make when they're working, is they make $60 to $70 per day, working full time, making that 850 minimum wage. And unfortunately, I didn't like it. So what did I went ahead and do? I knew that we were going to get married. I wanted to propose to her in just a couple more months. I went ahead and I was like, you know what? I want to get married. I know that we want a photo booth in our wedding. Why don't I go ahead and start a photo booth? It was a little bit in mm, towards the end of the pandemic. And I was like, you know what? Let me start running it. I started getting extremely busy with my uh, marketing agency. And I was like, you know what? I don't have the time for it, but I don't want to kill that business. I told my wife, hey, well, my girlfriend at the time, I was like, hey, can you help me out start running it? And it was, I say it a lot that I jokingly did it. And, but it was mainly the reason was I always wanted her to start her own business. Um, I didn't like her working there, so I that's what I wanted for her to have. That freedom that we most of us have. I know some of you guys are still working on reaching that freedom number, but you can achieve it. And one of the ways that you can do it is if you don't want to do it through the agency, you can do it through a local business. So that goes into my next thing. Why should we start a local business? I originally, when I did this presentation, we had called it a micro business, and I no longer call it a micro business because the way that I had originally structured it is, um, and now it's a mentality thing. I changed it to a local business from micro business because when we think of it being just micro, you're thinking, hey, I can only make very little money. But I've come to realize that, hey, in a lot of cases, these make tremendous amount of money. Like Saravanan said, a lot of these businesses, when I start discussing them, a lot of them are making 5 to 10,000. Some of them I'll later explain it. Some of them are making 30 to 40,000. One of those businesses, which is going to be my industry or specifically photo booth, I know some people making up to $80,000 per month, just purely on photo booth. So I'll go ahead and start first with why should you start a local business? So the first reason is, like I mentioned before, the main reason you should start a local business is because of the skill that you have, and it's instant customer acquisition. Um, like I mentioned before, one of the reasons that we, well, sorry, one of the skills that we specifically have that not a lot of businesses have is we have the strategies, the methods, the means to get clients. Like I mentioned before, what's the most important thing of a business? If you guys want to put it in the chat, what's the most important thing of a business? I mentioned it earlier. Let's see if y'all are paying attention.
Who wants to put in the chat, guys? What's the most important thing when you're starting a
I
business?
mentioned it. I mentioned it earlier.
Galen
Awesome. You
says
guys are
getting customers. Omel says clients.
exactly. It's clients. That's the most important thing of any business. If you are not able to get clients, you don't have a business. You're not able to make money because that is the main thing, and that's what I keep repeating to you guys. You guys have the skills to get clients. So the first step in starting a business, if it's ask any business owner that just started, oh, I built my Facebook page. I created a website using Canva, using Wix, but I'm still not getting clients. How many of you guys put a one if you guys have heard it from business owners, from friends, that they they tell you that, hey, I created my page, I I did my website, but I'm still not getting clients. So what am I doing wrong? Put a one if you guys have heard that. I'm sure that a lot of you have heard it. If not, then we need to you need to message me privately. You need to message Saravanan privately. Why do I say that? Because that means that you're not reaching out to businesses. You're not reaching out to businesses if you haven't heard that before. Because that's the main problem that all of us are hearing. What what is that main problem? That they're not getting clients. That they think just because you build it, they'll come. That's unfortunately not the case. And we've all come to realize that not because you build a rank and run website, If you just build it, not paying attention to make sure that you optimize it properly, doesn't mean that you're going to get clients. And that's what is most important for you guys. You have the skills to get clients. The other thing is we have that competitive edge. Like I mentioned, most local competitors don't know SEO. So you have that skill that helps you get clients. Number three, the low startup cost. In a lot of companies, most of their budget at the beginning is spent in marketing, and that's something that I've personally learned, and I've heard of a lot of people that even in your agency, a lot of people take the time to be learning. Hey, I need to learn SEO. I need to learn SEO. I need to make sure that I got everything down. But in a lot of cases, that's not true. You don't have to know everything about SEO and everything to start making money. One of the most important things is, like I mentioned, it's clients. In our agency, it's a little bit different because we can show up for keywords like your city SEO and things like that. But as Saravanan has spoken about it several times before, is doing cold email. And a lot of that, and most importantly, what I want to mention with that is it's just taking action. It's that, and what my point with that and bringing that up is, if you as an agency that you're starting off and you're spending so much time just trying to learn, start taking action and actually start doing the things to start generating money. And that's one of the reasons of why starting a local business is a lot easier. It Since you have the skills, you start building a website, you're going to see almost instantly, because you have the skill to show up on Google, you're going to start getting clients very easily and at a very low cost. The second thing is scalability. We're able to do websites, we're able to do reviews. I think 2 weeks ago, I mentioned one of the ways that we are able to get reviews for our photo booth business. We, in the past, I want to say 8 months, we've generated for our photo booth about 215 reviews or so without having to spend on dime. They're all legitimate reviews. None of those
That's a review a day.
generated.
That's a review
Yeah,
a day.
sometimes, funny enough, we've actually just this past, I think I was sharing it in the mastermind. Uh, was it last week? I think because we didn't have a mastermind this Tuesday, but last mastermind, I was talking about that our review follow up and everything that we're doing. We last Monday we generated 11 reviews from
Wow.
our photo booth, and I can explain that in another class
Yeah.
because I know that we're sharing this on YouTube. I don't want everybody to
Yeah,
know these
yeah. No,
strategies. I
we're
can
just
share
waiting
with.
for. Let's move on with this, right? Because I'm really itching to know. Okay, what business did you start? How do I start a business? All the juicy details. Go for it.
Awesome. So there's a lot of high ROI niches, and these are just some of the niches that you're able to start. So I know that within the mastermind we have someone that owns a house cleaning business. There's independent bookkeeping. I think we even spoke about that. There's a ton of money in tax preparation. I think we have spoken about that last year when we did this presentation. How many of you guys that are barely starting their agency, how many of you guys have put a one if you've previously paid for a tax preparation service? That would be that's your H&R block. That would be all the different tax preparation services that there is. How many of you guys have hired one in the past to do your taxes? I want to see if people have done it before. Eh, awesome, awesome. I want you to give me, if you guys are open to it, how much did you guys pay? I'll give you um in a lot of cases, what I've seen is for our case, I think for our accountant, we paying, yeah, for 2,500. I think it's for the business one, but most of them is the lowest end. You'll see it for like $40, and that's extremely, extremely low. You're getting an amazing price for tax preparation, Vic. but most of them are paying between 150 to 250 for tax preparation. And I'm saying just your W-2s people, that's how much they're paying. That's I'm not saying because the 2,500 the Survivor mentioned, that's about how we're paying for our actual business tax
Yeah,
preparation because
that's
it's
business. Yeah, but most
those,
people, I
yeah,
remember before my business, it was like 175, 200, something like that.
correct. And believe it or not, just on the tax preparation, all you need to do is have an accountant degree, which in most cases takes between 3 to 6 months for you to get, and you can already start making money with that. In a lot of cases, the tax preparation, um, oh, you got it. Must be nice working at H&R Block. Um, but I'm sure you saw it when you were working at H&R Block. A lot of those accountants, they don't know a lot of the things that they're doing, and a lot of them is just plug and play. And all of that, they're able to do it and charge that amount. Obviously, they make less than that because they work, like, for example, for H&R Block. But if they wanted to start their own tax preparation, they're charging between 150, that's the lowest I've seen it, for tax preparation, up to 250. And all it is a plug and play. It's just exactly, it's just through the software. They just enter the information and everything else is being done. But what I want to continue with is and bring it back is the industry that I've fallen in love with is the event industry. I can tell you I've fallen hugely in love with it. Why? Because there's so much money to be made. One of those is going to be the wedding planning. Well, first of all, before I even go into wedding planning, I do want to mention how much do you guys think, or do we have anyone that has gotten married within the last, I want to say, 3 to 5 years? I know Danny Maleo was one of them, but is there anybody else here today that has gotten married within the last 2 to 5 years? If it's not the case, so I just keep it active. Put a two in the chat. If you haven't gotten married within the last 3 to 5 years, put a two in the chat. That way, I can make sure that everybody's still active within the chat. And so no one, three. So put a one once again if you've gotten married within the last 3 to 5 um, years.
No
So no
one's.
one. Okay, awesome. No problem. So in average, and I didn't include that within my slide, which I just realized. Um, if y'all want to put, I'm just gonna directly pull it from Google. What's the average cost of a wedding? So that way you guys don't see I manipulated anything. What's the average cost of a wedding? The average wedding can run between 30 and 35,000. 30 to 35,000 just for one night. I know that Danny even spoke about that. That's, I think, about how much he spent, or I think he spent more than that in his wedding. But that is how much is being spent on a single day and everything that is being spent for a wedding. 30 to 35,000. So, and the reason that I love it is there's so much money to be made. And one of the ones that I'm going to be talking about is the wedding plan. So on average, a wedding planner charges between 2,000, can charge up to 10,000. And it's amazing and how much they're able to charge. And one of those businesses, I'm actually in that within the wedding planning because my when I got married, my sister helped me because one uh funny enough, you don't need a degree, you just need training, if you want to call it that, to become a wedding planner, sorry. You don't need to go to school, you don't need to go into depth to become a wedding planner. And imagine making two to $10,000 just on a single day of work. Because well, a wedding planning it takes several months, but a lot of it is just reaching out to your vendors. But imagine making that much money from just one event. That is 100% possible. Like I mentioned, the wedding planners, they my sister is a wedding planner, like I was mentioning. She became a wedding planner because she helped me plan my wedding. I helped her start her business and everything. Right now, on average per event, she's making, I think actually, right now she charges for just the wedding planning. It's 2,000. She just started doing mobile bartending. That's a whole different service. She's making an additional, I think it's 1,200 from bartending and all of that. And in that case, she is the wedding planner. Sorry, on the bartending, she is doing that subcontracting. Do you
So,
partner
so
with
hold on a
the
minute,
event
Eddie.
planners?
If I may ask a question. So your sister's the first wedding she planned was your wedding, where she was like a wedding
Correct.
planner. And then she's now doing all that, and she's also mobile bartending, and you literally helped her with the process you're showing now.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, once again, if we're able to help uh, people grow their business, why would we not be able to help business get started from the first place?
Absolutely.
So for her, I one of my ways to pay her off, because I she didn't charge me to help plan my wedding. The way that I helped her off was get her website and get her GMB. I helped create it, and now, like I mentioned, she's making 2 to 3 thousand from per event just on wedding planning. I think last year she she made like 60,000 last year from wedding
Wow.
planning. And once again, it's just technically it is for her part-time job. She has 2 kids. She's a full-time mom
Wow.
and is running her wedding planning. And that's only I think she did last year she did 11 or 12 different weddings. She makes awesome money. Um she also does event planning that makes her a ton of money as well. There's
Awesome.
a honestly there's a ton of money in that. What I personally am in is in the photo booth industry. On average, a photo booth rents for about 400 to 1,000. 400 is what we charge within my area because I am in the peak of South Texas. A lot of people call San Antonio South Texas, but I'm further down. I'm actually in the border between Mexico and the US. And for hours, we charge $400 for just 2 hours of photo booth. And imagine how many of you guys would love to be making $200 an hour from just doing 2 hours photo booth?
Wow.
Put a one in the chat if you guys would be love to be doing that.
So
Doing
Caroline says photo booths are great business. Just fill it up and reuse the same equipment. Vic says love
exactly.
it.
And if funny enough, right before I jumped in the call, I had a client call us. Well, I had a prospect calling us that they found us through Google, and then I'll explain that a little bit more.
Sure.
Um, Well, actually, let me take a step back and explain my journey through the photo booth. Like I mentioned before, I started the same way when I started the yard greetings. I started the Google My Listing first before I even had the equipment. The same way I started the photo booth. Once again, because we have that skill that we're able to show up on Google. That's a huge skill that a lot of businesses wish they had. And what did I do? I came up with the name. I asked my wife because then she didn't know that I wanted her to take over that business. But I asked her, I was like, hey, what do you think would be a good name? So after a lot of brainstorming, she helped me come up with our name, which is called Instant Party Booth. That's the photo booth company that we own. When we started, and even to today, I created GMBs and our website. And to this day, you guys can look it up if you guys don't believe me. Insta Party Booth. We don't have social media. Like we have the social media accounts to separate them, like so we have them exclusive to our business. But I think we've done 3 or 4 posts since we started, and since then we do an average of 120 events per year. So you guys can kind of do the math on how much money we're making. We do 120 events minimum per year since we started. We don't have social media. I know a lot of people have asked me that before. You honestly don't have social media? We don't. We don't post. So we made that mistake. I'm not going to tell you that, hey, you shouldn't have social media to start your business, but you don't need it. Like, you don't need social media specifically to start getting business. No, it's not even word of mouth. I know a lot of it's basically the skill that we're talking about here. It's making it's showing up on Google. I currently we are dominating, and I truly mean the word dominating my whole area in every single city. And if you look up photo booth, we are dominating, like I mentioned, in some of them, Insta party booth. Insta, like Instagram party, simplest party, and booth, BOO, like you see here, with an S at the end. Um, more than welcome to look at it. That website, I just spoke with another business that is local to me, and they were seeing it. They're like, "Oh, it looks amazing! Like you must have spent so much money on the website." I was like, "If they only knew." Since I started my business, I've honestly invested in time on the website and the SEO and everything. I want to say a week or 2 weeks total. If you want to put everything together within the last 3 years, we the only thing that we update the website is the new events that we're doing. And like I mentioned, we make an average of 400, um, a minimum of 400 per event for 2 hours photo booth. It takes about 30 minutes for the installation, 30 minutes for the takeout. So in total, we work about 3 hours for the 400. Every additional hour, we charge 100. But once again, that is in my area specifically. If we compare to Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, their average is about 800 to 900 per for 2 hours. And I even spoke about it before. That's just for weddings and 15s and birthday parties. If we do corporate events, those run about 3,000 the same way, just for 2 hours. And the main reason is because we brand everything with the branding for specifically. I had just spoken about it, I think 2 weeks ago when I presented this to you guys from the photo booth. When we brand it and when we charge the 3,000 is because we did a what we called a activation. So let me go ahead and pull one up so you guys can see an idea of how that looks like. So a branding activation for the photo booth runs about 3,000 for just 2 hours. And that's every additional hour it can run. You can charge between 500 to $1,000, and a lot of people may be wondering for those $3,000 ones, how much are you actually spending for that additional work that you have to do? It's the branding itself for printing. You're spending maybe $400 dollars, and you instead of charging $1,000 or 800, you're charging 3,000 because you're branding the booth. But let me go ahead and show you guys what a brand activation looks like. There we go. So, so this is actually one of my clients. I want to make sure that not. Yeah. So this is actually one of my clients that we do their they did this brand activation and um for an event here in Texas. It was an Ulta conference that they had for they actually provided this themselves, the actual client for this event. And a lot of people were impressed. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be impressed. How much do you guys think? Oh, let me see. Where did my chat go? Is everybody? Oh, there we go. Sorry. I thought I was seeing Instagram. Um, how much do you guys think from this event, a 4-day event? How much do you guys think they made from the photo booth? And I spoke about it about 2 weeks ago. Here, let's see if you guys remember. It was 4 days that they ran the photo booth. How much do you think
Omer says
they?
5K.
So 5K. Okay, awesome. So anybody else want to take a guess? I'll open it to you guys. How much do you guys think they made from just this single event in 4 days? They were running to give you an idea, they were running 6 photo booths. Within the 4 days, four of them were just 2 days, and then one of them was, I think, 2 days as well.
I think if I'm
Ten
not wrong,
thousand.
I remember you saying they made like $30,000. I may be
They,
wrong.
they made 40,000 from it.
40,000. Wow.
From from this one, if you see, there's one booth over here and one booth here. For this specific event alone, I believe, I don't know if it was because he did he only worked with 3 companies, just 3 companies. He
Wow.
made 40,000 from those 3 companies, and he did for this one. I don't know if it was Smashbox specifically, but because he worked with Smashbox, he worked with L'Oreal, and I forgot the other one. I think L'Oreal is the one that paid him 20,000 for just 2 days, 8 hours each day. I know. Um,
And he followed the same process. They found him through Google.
yeah, we do his SEO. We
Wow.
do his SEO, and before we started working with him, he was making. I think we were charging the same. He was charging, even though he's in a major city, I'm not. He was charging 450 for 2 hours. He went from charging 450 to now he charges $1,000 for 2 hours. And whenever he does corporate events like these, his minimum is 2,500.
So can I ask you
Anything
a
else within,
question? Can I ask you a question,
go
Eddie?
ahead.
So in his case and in your case, do you go and put up the photo booth and all that? Do you have somebody to do it when you get a client?
Yes. So in our case, we actually run the local business, and that's why I tell you start a local business because you can technically do what we do with a lot of us do, which is rank and rent, lead generation, but you're going to leave a ton of money on the table. How many of you guys have reached out to your client? Hey, how much money did you guys make from this call? Oh, we made 10, 20,000. Imagine if you were making those 10, 20,000 because they're paying you 500, $1,000 per month, and they're generating sometimes 10 times, 20 times what they're making from you. Imagine if you were the one making that amount. And to answer your answer, Harry, they don't get this often. So these type of events, they don't get them often, but it's an additional 40,000 that they make specifically just, I believe it was in May. Um, but we our most busiest seasons within the event industry is May and December. What do I say those specific ones? What happens in May? That's when the I like to call them kids, but that's when the high
Graduation.
schools and everything they're graduating and they have uh, their graduations that they're celebrating, and that's that's what a lot of parties are going on for those graduations. So we're extremely busy in May. And secondly, what goes on December? Christmas. A lot of those corporate companies or all of those corporate parties are happening. We're making money from there. Just to give you guys an idea, even though we do 120 events, a lot of my year is pretty relaxed because we only do an average, at least in my area. Once again, I'm in a I want to call it low income area because I don't live in a major city, but we average from 1 to 2 events per weekend, so we're making minimum 400. The one single event we can make up to, I think it's 1,000 for 4 hours that we're doing service. At least in my area, and his area is completely different. And I'm certain if you guys are in major areas, you could be making about that 1,000. I even told Saravanan if he started in the photo booth, he could easily be making $1,000. Even on the low end, he could target the corporate events, be making 3,000 because corporate events are always happening. Look around in your city. Is there baseball games happening? Is there basketball games happening? I have a specific friend within the photo booth industry that he is making $3,000 every single basketball game because he runs a photo booth. All he's doing is taking pictures of them, giving the printout to them, and because he works with the NBA, the not directly with the NBA, but a lot of the basketball teams are his client. They're paying him 3,000 for event. So and he's just traveling to go do that event and coming back to
Okay.
Texas. So wherever they're playing at, whenever he works with a specific team, they go wherever the team is going. They pay him for the traveling, and he makes us 3,000 just to be there for 2 hours to take
Let's
pictures.
keep going.
But
Just in the interest of
yeah,
time,
that's what I
Eddie,
was gonna
let's keep
say.
I,
going
I
because
don't mean to interrupt, but I had a question. How do you go about with your GMB? How do you go about do you run the business from home or do you get a hybrid or are you using a
virtual office.
office? Yeah.
I'll turn that. I'll turn that back to you. How would you do it? How would you tell your client to be running it? If it's because we all have clients. Remember, at the end of the day, we I'm not talking to business owners here. I'm not talking to photo booth businesses. How would you run it as a if I was your client and I told you, hey, I have a photo booth business. How can I grow it? There's two ways, which is what you mentioned. They either can go ahead and get an office, which we do have. We have an actual office, part of a business center that we pay. But before then, I didn't have an office for a year. I didn't have an office because it was COVID time. There was a lot of people were not coming out. You can technically, my client, the one that I showed earlier that was doing the 40,000, he doesn't have an office. He shows his Google listing. It's just from home. I want to remind you guys a lot of the questions that you guys are asking me about SEO and everything, remember that you guys do SEO. How would you guys answer it? The same question that you guys are asking me, how would you guys answer it back if it was a client asking you that? I don't have an office. How do I show up on Google? You technically don't. A lot of businesses don't have it. Why? Because they sometimes don't need it. We recommend it, but they sometimes don't want to move forward. How do you guys go around that? So the next thing is the wedding officiants. What there's, like I mentioned, 35,000 is spent on a wedding. There's a ton of money that is being made for everybody. There's money for everybody. Wedding officiants. A wedding officiant only works for 1 hour, which is the actual time when you're getting married. They charge an average between $200 and $450. If you don't, funny enough, you could legally become a wedding officiant in the state of Texas within an hour. All you need to do is purchase a course that tells you um, what are you who you can and cannot marry, which in this case, obviously you can't marry minors. They just tell you what you can and cannot do, and you can become a wedding officiant within an hour. Be making 200 to $450. If you guys don't believe me that those numbers are correct, look it up. Look it up in your area. How much is a wedding officiant charging? Wedding officiant, your city. They're charging 200 to $450. Each of them really depends. Um, and once again, where you're in the city that you're in, even in my small city, they charge a minimum of 200, and it's just a 1 hour that they're doing. If you want them to do an extended, so the wedding officiant, they're what they call a quick elopement, is 200. But if you want um, a complete an elopement or a quick wedding, I think it's like 15 minutes, and they charge 200. If you want a 30-minute wedding, they charge 250, and I think for a 45-minute wedding, they charge 300. So that gives like for if people want to talk and the whole deal, and that's how much there is in that. I spoke about this before within the mastermind. It was the marketing machine rentals. Margaritas, they cost about a good machine, and I want to emphasize in buying a quality machine. I've done that mistake. I bought a cheap machine, but on those, just renting the machine alone, just a single machine. If you guys don't know what a margarita machine, they're technical slush machines. Let me go ahead and show you guys that. So those margarita machines or ices, as we've seen them, those are these. Just so you guys can get an idea. They're these. They're technically, if you want to call them legally, they're slushy machines. They're not, they call them margaritas because you're able to add alcohol, but they're slushy machines. Yeah, those Ninja ones, they're not commercial based because you can only do, I think, like 3 cups with it. With these, the ones that I showed here, those you can make, each one can make about 50 cups from it. 15, I think they're 10-ounce cups. And those rent for a single flavor, it's between 75 to 150. But the double flavor, which is what a lot of, or the double partitions or bowls, those rent between $200 and $300. And I've seen them rent up to 500 if you go ahead and do an experience rather than just selling the service. And that's something that I've personally learned from the photo booth, and I'll explain a little bit. So I'm sure you guys have heard it, and it's I'll put it in the SEO perspective, and then I'll put it into my business. So I'm sure you guys have heard, do not sell the product, sell the outcome. What do I mean by this? So for example, you don't sell SEO. Don't tell them, hey, we're going to be doing SEO. Because to be honest with you, clients don't care. They don't care about SEO. What do they care about is the outcome. And what is that outcome? Clients. And that's really what they care about. And it's the same thing within the photo booth. I'm not selling them at the photo booth. If you guys, I think it still has in my current website, it's still called services. I'm working to launch our new website. Been working on it uh, for months because I only work on it like 20, 30 minutes whenever I remember. But can everybody still hear me? Everybody's really quiet. Okay, everybody's still here.
Yeah.
Awesome. So within our business, we no longer call it services, we call it experiences. Because that's exactly what we want to sell them. It's on the experience rather than the actual product. That's why corporate events charge a lot higher. Why? Because we're selling them on the experience of branding and your business being out there more than just having the photo booth. Is everything is branded with your business. That's why we charge so much, which is what we charge. And like I mentioned, the machine rentals rent for about 200 to 300 on average. Chairs and table rentals, I'm sure you guys have seen it. Those rent between $1.50 to $6 for a chair. And imagine in most of those, they're making you're like, oh, $6. It starts adding up. A lot of people don't take orders less than 50 chairs. That's $150 that they make plus delivery. They're making $200 just to rent them out. All they're doing is getting them from their garage, their storage, dropping it at your business. They're not even setting it up because that's a completely different service. Setting up chairs and everything, that's an add-on. You just go and drop off the chairs. They take care of the rest. And there's a ton of those. Once again, the inflatable bounce houses and water slides. Those rent between $200 and $450. And the main idea with this, and I told you guys, I'm not gonna be doing a lot today of, hey, this how you start your business. And why is that? Because a lot of us, if you guys want to know how to grow a business and how to start a business, go look at Servana's course. Why do I say this?
Here's what
It's the
we'll do,
most
Eddie.
important.
Actually, this is good stuff, right? I think it's time. I want to start a local business. Along, I want to work with you. You walk us through it. I want to be a case study. Let's say anybody else who want to join. Okay. Can I share my screen,
For
quick,
sure.
Eddie, if you don't
Go
mind?
for it. Go for it.
Yep.
Let me
So let me.
go
How do I
ahead and
stop
stop sharing my
you?
screen.
Yeah. So here's what I want to do, right? Um, so am I sharing my screen or am I not right now? Right?
There we go.
Um,
It's loading up.
if you're not in
There we go.
school, okay, if you're not in school, okay, we have all this in school. Okay, so you can join this for less than $100 a month. Okay, I'll put this link in the Facebook group. I'll put it in the chat. Um, we have everything on SEO over here. We have right now we started a few other things also along with SEO. We have so many videos on SEO ranking, all of those here. But now we also have AI going crazy stuff in AI, a lot of crazy stuff in AI over here. Then we're starting cold email, all of it is included. And now we're going to start something with Eddy on how to start a local business. Okay. Literally, I think it's time because I've seen people making money with Christmas lighting. You heard of that, Eddy? Hanging Christmas
Yeah.
lights, right? I know a guy who has an SEO agency. He literally posted the other day that he makes almost as much as the SEO agency. He makes 7 figures with the SEO agency. He makes almost as much with his catering business, food catering, working 1/10 of the work that he's putting into SEO, right? Running a
Yeah.
local business, like marketers like me, we've always been afraid of it. Oh man, I gotta fulfill and operate and all that. honestly, if you deal with clients, if you're decent at answering the phone, figure out how to fulfill, go out of the right niches, you can make some money. So we're going to go through a whole separate training on starting a local business. You could be a full-time mom, you could be working full-time and have 2 hours a week, but be able to do that. So Eddie, you started the business for your wife. Now she's running it 2 days a week, the weekends. Then your sister for the wedding planning stuff. Did you also
Correct.
start something for your in-laws?
So we started the margarita business originally for them. We made the mistake to go ahead and I bought cheap machines. So that's the reason that we kind of had to pause that because since I invested in cheap machines, I think they were instead of buying one for 2,000, I bought two for 1,000 each. And that's I even spoke about it that mistake within my presentation.
Mhm.
Um, the the thing is, and I want to mention this to everybody, the event industry in a lot of cases is just the weekends. And my point is, and I spoke about it 2 weeks ago in here. Photo booth, just a small piece of the puzzle. I'm just between 400 to $1,000 from that $30,000 to $35,000 budget. Everybody that is getting married, if you want to ask anybody that is getting married today, their minimum that they're spending, even in a small wedding, is 15 to 20,000. 15 to 20,000 is being spent on a single night. So what is that being spent on? On the venue. They're being spent on the DJ, on catering, on if they want to have a photo booth, if they want to have coffee catering, if they want to have those little gifts that they're giving out, if they want to have things in the entrance. There's a ton of money to be made. And that's once again, like I even spoke about it within my slide. That's just the event industry. If you start going into pressure washing, you start going into um, concrete. I think Sarvan and I were talking about it. If you, what I recommend is don't go in it like, oh, I'm gonna partner with someone and I'll just do the marketing. Try doing it yourself because it once you actually start doing it yourself, it completely changes your mind and everything because you start looking at everything as not on the marketing side, you start looking at it at the as the business side, and you're like, hey, that actually doesn't look that complicated. That's
Yeah.
how I started when I started my photo booth. I was like, they're just taking pictures. And a lot of it, for our case, the 400 that we're charging, we're just doing it with an iPad. Believe it or not, we're taking pictures with an iPad, the front camera, not even the back camera. And if you guys have taken pictures with your front camera on an iPad or just your phone, you know that the quality is not amazing compared to your back camera. And even with that, I'm making $400. I'm printing it out, giving it to people, and making those $400.
Wow.
And a lot of people, they're like, "What do I thought I had to learn photography and everything." That's what I thought as well. But the only way that you start learning that is if you look at it as a business perspective. On the marketing, you're like, oh, I can market it here, market it there. But take a step back, look at it as a business perspective. What does it actually take to do the job? What is it that you have to invest? Let me go over kind of quick. I know I missed a couple of them. Harry asked how often do you get the 5 days orders? It varies between the year. Most of them, they're not going to be 5 days. They might be a day in corporate events. Once again, like I mentioned, that client specifically, he's a friend more than a client. Um, he he did just last week Whataburger. I'm not sure it's similar to In-N-Out to the people that are not in
Yeah,
Texas.
what a burger. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so on that one for a 3 hour event that he did trading cards. It's a new service that it is basically like photo booth, but we actually do like let me share that real quick.
Yeah, and you can do it, slice them. That you can fulfill it. You can have a handyman do
Yeah,
the work for
yeah.
you. There's so many ways you can slice it.
Have a technical
So
into the AI, and that AI has been learning for
can you read it? There we go. So this is the ones that he did. The trading cards, he did it for Whataburger. I don't know if I can pull up the one that he did, but for these, he did
You're
it
not sharing a
for.
screen.
Oh, sorry, I forgot that I had stopped sharing my screen. There we go. So this is the one that he did. These are the photo booth trading cards.
Oh,
They
wow,
look
okay.
just like that. He did it, like I mentioned, for Whataburger, For 3 hours, he charged, I think, 3,000. And the cost, uh, I was telling him, I was like, man, you messed up. Because he got the cheap trading card holders that he bought. I think he told me he bought 100 for $25. These are more higher end. He's like, I messed up. I should have ordered these. But for this service, he spent like I told you guys, he charged 3,000. He in total for the whole service, I want to say he spent $100
What? A
because
hundred bucks and he made 3,000?
yeah, because the actual uh we use our photo booth printer. Each printout costs us 15 cents. So
Wow.
if he did 100 cards, it's $15. And then the cases, he had cheaper cases, which he really later realized after the event because it was his first trading card specifically event. There's another one. This is how they take it. So they have the design, and all they do is have a backdrop, take a picture of the person, and make it into a trading card. And that they charge once again 3,000
So
just
you
for
can
that.
start so many of these businesses, right? Inflatable water
Yeah,
bottles.
there's so many ones, and I even spoke about it. There's and if you don't, you're like, I don't want to be in the event industry.
Mhm.
House cleaning. What do you need to be a house cleaner? You just need the supplies. To be an independent bookkeeper, you just need to take the classes. Like I mentioned, it's a 3 to 6 hour course if you want to become a certified accountant
Yep.
and already start doing that. If you want to do carpet cleaning, you only need the machine to do carpet cleaning. Mobile notary, you just need to be certified. Lawn care. I mean, we've sure seen a lot of kids start during the summer, a lot of lawn care services.
Yeah. Pressure
It's the
washing.
same thing. Like the main thing, and I want to reiterate that so many times. We have the most important skill that any other business wish they had. And I hope I covered everything in my key takeaways. I know I don't want to do a hour and 30 minutes presentation. Is once again, I hope I covered everything within my key takeaways. Stop thinking of your agency, clients, and legion partners only. Like just don't uh stop just focusing on them, and also start getting into the actual of starting up a business. The beauties, like I tell, the beauties and the struggles. Because not, I'm obviously giving you guys the good things of starting a business, the money that you can make. Obviously, there's going to be struggles because it's like any other business. If we have struggles as a marketing agency, they have struggles as a regular business. Like I mentioned before, if you guys know, I left it as digital marketing because
Mhm.
you guys may know specifically SEO, you guys may know specifically web design, or you may not know those specifically, but you already know
Yeah.
Facebook ads. Facebook ads you can be making money with for the clients for your clients. If you're making it, you could be doing it for yourself as well. And I always tell everybody has an entrepreneur spirit. We just gotta wake it up. And at the end of the day, um, don't that has been at least my thing, and that's why I've been on a hiatus. And I spoke about it with Sarvana. I honestly I went on a hiatus not so much for the money, uh, was mainly to get my wife to start her entrepreneur journey. For her, it was her first business ever. She didn't have experience running a business. Now, after I want to say a year and a half, um, I've honestly, I tell everybody I've taken a 2 year vacation because I have my marketing agency. I don't work a lot in it. We still make good money from it. And then I have the photo booths that I help her out. But there's honestly what I'm doing is only a small
Yeah.
piece of what is possible. Now I'm focusing back on what makes me, which is the reason why I say this, your ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is growing my agency because I love marketing. That honestly I could do it every single day. I always tell clients I was like I do marketing not because of the money. I do it because I honestly love it. If you notice the strategies and everything. I love thinking about that. Um, but at the end of the day, like I mentioned,
This is
you
awesome.
guys have amazing
This is
skills.
awesome.
I
So guys,
I want
this is go ahead, Eddie. Finish it off.
what I was gonna say is I hope everybody got some key takeaways from this. You guys learned something today. What is possible? That's most importantly. I'm always huge to do a conversation starter or kind of just poking your mind and realizing, hey,
This is
there's
amazing.
so much possible.
This is so much
There's
fun.
so much possible.
Amazing. Guys, give us a thank you or a mind blown to Eddy. And also give us a yes if you want to bring, if you think we should continue on this and dive deeper. So just step one, if you want to start a business. Okay, so next week onwards, we have some training. If you think, yes, you want more training so you can start a business, we'll figure out, okay, if you want to start and fulfill it, if you want to contract it out, subcontract it out, a whole series, if you will, give us a yes. Okay, and so Neil says, thank you, Eddy. Sherry says, thank you. Tariq says, thank you. Yes. Brilliant, great, thanks. Can you set up a business? Yes, yes, yes. So everyone's like, yes. So here's what we're gonna do. If you're not in the school, jump into the school, okay? You're gonna learn a lot about AI, new AI stuff, making money with AI, SEO in depth, but also this stuff, like it's putting so much into a low monthly investment. You're gonna see 10x, if not 100x, okay? I'm not even promoting it big time because we have so much stuff going on, okay? But Eddy, thank you. I really will. I'll hit you up maybe over the weekend or something, man, because I want to start a local business. I just have to figure out what. Okay, and probably, you can probably guide me with that. But I'm sure there's so many
Sure.
people here. Tag Eddy within reason in the Facebook group. Don't hound him or anything. But
That's what I was gonna say. If you guys ever feel free to message me. I'm always gonna tell you this. When people message me, I'm glad to help, but please ask specific questions. A lot of the cases, like I tell everybody, I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna help you as much as I can, but don't reach out to me and saying like, "Hey, how do I start my own business?" Because it's a very extremely open-ended question. Like I tell everybody, ask me specific questions. Start doing the research. You showing me that you've taken the time and you've actually are asking me specific questions. That means that you have already spent the time that it takes to do that. If you guys just send me, "Oh, hey, it's because I wanted," how do I do it? It like I tell everybody, it's how long is the stream?
yeah,
You're leaving it completely open. Everybody can reach out to me. I have no problem. As long as everybody's asking me if you want to start a specific business or you have questions about your what specific that you're doing for your marketing or anything, reach out to me, but ask me specific questions. I'll be happy to help you. And most important, those specific questions, like I mentioned, and I always will mention it. Um, They'll show me that you have actually put the time to it and you're not just, oh, I was bored, let me ask Eddy a question just
yeah.
to, because it's
Exactly.
I
End of the
like I said.
day, we want to make sure you implement it and move on. And I've been in this coaching from 2018 or so. I'll tell you, I've sat with hundreds of people, one-on-one group coaching, all of that. My personal experience. Most of us have the knowledge, right? It's easily available. Just go YouTube, anything you want, right? But where we get stuck is the accountability. The devil is in the details, okay? It's reaching out to somebody and getting unstuck than just being stuck forever. Those things, right? Jump into a private community, guys, less than $100 a month. AI, SEO, now starting a local business powered by it. I'm excited because I have some ideas I want to run by you, but next week we're going to bring Eddy, but it's only for private for those who are in the school only. And then continuously also we'll have AI and SEO and all of that. But hey guys, this was awesome. Thanks, Eddy. I know we went more than a 1 hour time frame, but people are mind blown. So this is exciting. So we'll see you guys next week. And hope you guys join in here. Okay. So thanks again. Thanks, Eddy. See you guys next week.